Tales from the Norse legends. The creation of the universe. In the beginning there was only Ginnungagap, the great emptiness. It stretched forever in all directions. There were no up nor down in Ginnungagap, no light, but no darkness either. No north, south, east, or west. There were no sound in Ginnungagap, but no silence either. Only never-ending void. How something can spring out of nothing is still unclear, but out of Ginnungagap two worlds came to existence. One was Muspelheim, which means land of the destroyers of the world. This was a terrible place. It was filled with molten rock, blazing volcanoes, rivers of lava, brimstone, and a sky which was filled with utterly black smoke. The strong, warm wind blew dark smoke over the lands of Muspelheim. The earth was continually cracking and splitting. Nothing lived in Muspelheim except the fire demon Surt, who lived in its very center. He would use his entire life to forge the very flaming sword he was destined to wield against the gods. He would be the forefather of the race of demons. The other region was Niflheim, the completely different of Muspelheim. While it was just as deserted, this land was frozen and icy cold. The winds of Niflheim blew great streams of rain and hail across the land of ice. It was filled with mountains of snow and ice, and glaciers crashed and creaked the frozen earth. The rivers of the earth came from Niflheim, who sprung out from Wurgelmere, the main river, also known as the Great Frozen Crucible. If else, they came from Elivagar, the primal spring which filled the seas of Niflheim. The seas of Niflheim was a dangerous place filled with crashing icebergs and mountains that opened and closed like the jaws of a beast. But the waters were anything but pure, for the waters of Elivagar were polluted with streams of wild black poison. This corrupted the waters and formed black ice where it hit the surface. This would have dark consequences in time. Many eons passed, and the lands of fire and ice spread. They would eventually come into contact with each other. When the fires of Muspelheim came into contact with the ice of Niflheim, a great phenomenon happened. A great explosion, sending tons of water flying through the air to rain down at the breaches of Ginnungagap. This formed the body of a giant, formed by ice and water, and set alive by the heat and fires of Muspelheim. This was Orglemir, but his offspring called him Aemir. This creature was corrupted, as he was created by ice, clay, smoke, heat, and the poisonous waters of Elivagar. Because of the heat, he began to sweat, and from beneath his left armpit, a male and female were born. A bit later, his right foot mated with his left foot, and gave birth to a six-headed son. These creatures were to found the ice and mountain giants. Somewhere else in Ginnungagap, another creature had been made, a giant cow called Adumbla. Even though she was created at the same time as Aemir, none of the poison from Elivagar had gone into her body, so she was forged from the pure ice and fires of Muspelheim and Niflheim. Since there was no grass in Ginnungagap, she had nothing to eat, so she fed herself by licking the ice, and as she licked, 4 great streams of milk flowed from her udders, feeding Aemir. And as she licked on the ice, the first day the bunt of a hair of a man appeared. At the second day the face and the shoulders came into existence, and the third day a fully grown being stood before her. This was Buri, father of the gods. He gave birth to a son called Bor, who married Bestla, the daughter of a giant called Balethorn. In time, They would have three sons called Willy, Way, and Odin.